Welcome to another 427 Motorsports video where we're going to work out what's causing the really bad knocking sound in our new 2008 Subaru Impreza. So, we bought this on Gumtree for the grand sum of £350, but if you listen to this video, you can kind of see why. So, what we're going to do is, I'll give you a very rough overview of what we bought, and then we're going to take the engine out, see what's wrong with it, and see just what we're going to do. So, this was bought by my lovely girlfriend, and she wanted something nice and modern to drive, and I says, well, why not a Subaru? And she kind of pictured something a bit like, which did put her off. But then I convinced her that, you know, not every Subaru has to have a big scoop with a big loud exhaust. Some of them just have loud exhausts. So, yeah. So, this is a 2008 model. It's the hatchback model, which not everybody likes apparently, but some people do. I didn't at first, I'm not gonna lie, but having seen this one in the flesh, I actually do kind of like it now. It's starting to grow on me. Wee bit generic. It's a bit like a Fiesta and a Focus mixed, if that makes sense. So it's 1.5 four-wheel drive with a high and low box. It's got wind deflectors, which are pretty cool. It's got rear tinted windows, which one of us thinks is pretty cool. What else has it got? Not much really. It's just a car. It's pretty good. The bodywork is like brand new. It's only got 85,000 miles on it. There's full service history, so really it is a car worth saving. So on the market right now, these are around the $3,500 mark for one in this spec, this colour and all that. So £350, if we can manage to fix this for anything under £1,000, we are well in the money. So I'll give you a quick run through of what's inside and then we'll get started. So, on the inside, it's a fairly standard Japanese car fur. It's plastics everywhere with the odd bit of shininess thrown in. What do we got? We've got air conditioning, which is pretty sweet. We've got a rear heated window, which is actually pretty standard. Here would be where you put your phone, but I think we're going to put a wireless charger in there. I'll do a how-to video on how to do that. We're going to put this aftermarket radio in, which we put in and got working, but we haven't actually mounted yet. I've no battery connected at the minute, so I can't show you stuff like that, but trust me, it's pretty good. Here we have our high and low box lever, which is pretty cool. This is if you're in the snow and you get stuck or whatever, you pull it into low and it just gives it a bit more grunt. 5-speed manual, cup holder, it's got an aux in here, but this also has an aux in, so I guess we don't really need that. Another 12-volt socket, which is actually really cool. Didn't expect it to have two. I wish mine had two. Yeah. Electric windows all around, central locking, airbags, which was the main point that she wanted a modern car for. So yeah, that's basically it. There's not much to these little cars, but there's not a lot on non-WRX or STI models on the internet, so I thought, well, why not broadcast this one a bit. So the problem we're trying to fix, we're guessing, is going to be probably the big end. A lot of people say it's piston knock, which I don't actually know if it's the same thing or not. Could be, who knows, but we think it's the crank. So if we get the engine out and get it split, and we'll see what happens. The first thing we did was drain the oil, which, as you can see, there wasn't very much of.
That's how it's my tank.
Is there anything in it?
No, that's only best places.
Yeah, that's an entire engine there, like. Mental. We wanted to see if we could see the crankshaft from underneath through the sump, which meant removing the sump, which then meant removing the exhaust. It's all happening. With the 6 nuts removed, we were able to remove the exhaust. This was a 2-man job, so we didn't film it. However, we soon realised that we still couldn't get to all of the front bolts, so it was time to get creative. We could undo the engine mounts there. There's 2 nuts underneath. I'll lift the engine up a bit and you can probably get them that way.
Give me what you want there. That's 10.
What's a 10? We started out by removing the ones that we could get to. And then we got creative. Please don't jack up your sumps normally.
What do we got?
What don't we have?
Let's look in it here.
No metal.
Not really, nothing sitting there.
Stick it up there. Wait. Right. Let's see if I can get the camera at this.
Can I see the crankshaft now? Can you see the bloody crankshaft?
Hopefully this video is at least informative, because it's probably not very entertaining.
Oh well. I'm enjoying myself. Dropped that bolt, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
File down my leg.
Nice. Sadly, we weren't able to get what we wanted from below, so it was time to remove the engine. Most of it's the same as any normal Subaru really, and you start out underneath by removing these 2 gearbox bolts. Or nuts, sorry. They look like bolts, they're not. Our favourite thing to do here though is to bag and tag with reusable sandwich bags and putting numbers on the bolts to make sure you know where they go. Having stripped everything off, next was to get the engine hoist in from outside, which currently held the Volkswagen 1.9 diesel engine. Don't ask. Rope tied and ready to go, it's time to lift.
Okay, now I'm concerned.
This is what happens.
Is that it? So you just lift?
The eagle has landed.
The opposite of landing, really. The eagle's taking off. The eagle's way off. That's alright. Go forward. If we don't touch the aircon, then we don't have to regas it, so that's why we haven't disconnected it fully.
No, just let the car ride. Don't keep it running too long.
Has it not got a brick under it?
Has it?
Yeah.
Well, I was playing, wasn't it?
Wow.
Good safety measure, but
you had the house handbrake on it.
at the house handbrake. How are we?
No, take away.
Not taking away full speed yet. Once it starts to go, so.
No, we go keep on. Let it run out all you.
I'm trying, it's still steady.
I'll push it in here. Yeah, clear.
This left us with one engine ready to be fully stripped down. For the most part, this is just the same as any strip down really, to be honest. Just remember to number and bag your parts, and for me, photograph, photograph, photograph. Another very useful tip, put bolts back in the place that they came from. You shouldn't wind up with any spare bolts then. Shouldn't. As you can see, in not very much time at all, we have most of the engine stripped. That's the oil pump you're taking off.
Yeah. You put something underneath there. Just throw a lock and right underneath.
It's starting to come free there. Good job, put the rag underneath.
Yep.
Oil pump look okay?
Don't know what's inside that.
Ah, okay.
Just set that on the table the way it is like that.
On the parts table?
Yeah.
Having removed the water pump, now it's time to get removing the heads. Rocket covers off, cam pulleys off, the works. Basically, to split a Subaru engine block, you need to remove literally everything. With the camshafts out, next up was the head bolts. These took a little bit of convincing with the breaker bar first.
Just really good colour on the top of them, that's all it is.
Yeah. So it's the green. That's what we need everything about. There we are.
Right, now just set this over in the bench. Just in case there's any piston in the spot.
Yeah.
Very clean engine. You look, see me a bit bump in there.
Yeah, that's the one that's going across, keeping the block together then.
Yeah, it won't be all the way across, mate, but just if them wishbones in the middle, it needs some type of strength.
Yeah.
So it's them that's going to hold. So, on to the other side.
Do the same again?
Yep.
Well, there's no point videoing the same thing twice, so for the sake of argument, just repeat for the other side. So we're down to the short block. So, just to sit repping where we are at the minute, we've got the engine out of the car. We've got it stripped down to the short block, as you can see here. So now we're just about to work out how do we actually split the block. Dad was watching some videos on the EJ20 engine, which this isn't, and it seems to be a different way of doing it. So we're gonna have to figure that one out. But come over here, we see the makings of an engine. To me, I consider this an absolute mess, but he knows what he's doing. So let's get back to it. Sad part is this is going to be days of work condensed into like 20 minutes of footage. The next job was removing the pistons from the block, which can be a wee bit of a fiddly job, removing the circlips. We bent this tool and made it ourselves on the vise. Yep. So that's your, what do you call them?
This pin of gudgeon pin.
Nice.
We call them gudgeon pins, the Americans call them wrist pins.
With some careful taps and precision, we had a first piston out. Rinse and repeat 3 more times. Then we found our problem.
Can you see that?
Yeah. So that happens many thousands of times a minute then, really loud.
Oh, and what could happen now is it could be just the bolts this year and probably wrap that around it. Right.
Nasty. So that's our problem then.
That's what the problem is, yeah. Definite big end gone. Now, my problem is definite get a split.
Hmm.
So now split the chest open. Pull that one away. What was that? There's the shell ring fell out.
That's not good.
Leave it there. Where's the shell ring? One that come out, where'd it go?
It's on the ground here.
In here.
Here.
Come out of here. No bearing. No bearing. She's on the bearing. Bearing's no longer there.
That's what's wrong with it then.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
She's been running without a bearing on it.
Yes, I know that, but how terminal is this?
I would say extremely terminal. You need a connecting rod as well. Yeah, it's just gone.
So we need a crank, a connecting, and a piston basically.
You need a crank, a connecting rod. A set of bearings.
So, now we have the engine out. As you can see here, there's just a nice big hole where an engine used to be. Now all that's left is to, well, find the parts for it. As you'll see in here, we've got the crankshaft out. So right now we're trying to find out what crankshaft also fits it. So this engine is an EL15, as I've said before, but I have been told by a Subaru dealership and online that the crankshaft from an EJ251, which is the 2.5 engine, which was in the Legacy, the Outback, Forester, that sort of thing, fits into this engine. But because I don't really trust that, to be quite honest, we're going to take it to an engineering firm near us who are going to rebuild the crank and put new bearings and all on it, and that should sort it all. We will still need to buy one conrod, but hey ho. So over here we have the remnants of the engine. This is what you'll be left with after you've stripped everything down. It's a mess, but we know where it all goes because we did sensible bagging things and stuff. So yeah, stick around for part 2 when we will have this engine hopefully rebuilt and back together. Fingers crossed. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave us a comment and tell us that we didn't do it properly, which you probably will. Some of you are really polite and just tell us that and don't leave it as a public comment, which is also very nice. Thanks for that. Yeah, so thanks for watching and stick around.